Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Spiffy, and today I have for you guys a review of the Xbox One exclusive Sunset Overdrive. So, Sunset Overdrive was developed by Insomniac Games, which was originally not originally, but it used to be a kind of PlayStation developer. They usually develop PlayStation games that are exclusive to PlayStation, or that were like PlayStation biased. They got DLC first, they got exclusive DLC. But that's not the case anymore. They were desperate for their own IP, so that's kind of what they did. They made their own game, and it's a very fun game, which I'll talk about here in a few minutes. But Microsoft said, yeah, you guys can have the IP, just put it on our console, kind of thing, and that's exactly what happened. So right now, what you guys are watching is some Sunset Overdrive gameplay. I'm doing some missions. I cut off the sound though, because I want you guys to hear my voice. I don't want it to be overrun by the gameplay or what's happening in the gameplay. So yeah. Anyway, so this is an Xbox One exclusive. It came out on October 28th in North America, and then in Europe it came out on October 31st. So came out kind of right before the holiday season started. You guys, probably a lot of you guys got it for Christmas, and you guys come on the internet and say, well, what's so good about this game? Why do I want to play it? And I'm going to tell you. So the traversal in this game was one of the really big ideas that kind of initiated the game. Not initiated, but like kind of made the game what it is. The traversal in this game is its big seller. What it is you can grind on anything on rails, you can grind on power lines, you can jump on top of cars, you can bounce off cars, you can bounce off bushes, you can do all this crazy stuff, and it doesn't cost perks. You don't need perks. You don't need special abilities. They're not kind of like MOBAs where like you have to wait for it to recharge. They're just you. So from the beginning of the game, it lets you grind and it lets you double jump, or not double jump. It kind of like vault over. It's like A plus A. So it's like double tap A and then, and then you can bounce up on stuff. And you can do this, like, it gives you a tutorial at the beginning of the game. And that's what you can do. You can do that, and you earn more and more abilities as you go. Like, you earn the air dash, which kind of, I think it's called the air dash. That kind of lets you boost in the air. You kind of jump in the air, and then you press your right bumper, and it kind of boosts you. And there's these other ones, like you can like slide on water for an extended period of time, and then in the new DLC, there's actually you can slide on water for a extended period of time. I think it's actually the entire time. I don't have the DLC yet, so I wouldn't exactly know. But the traversal in this game is kind of what makes it Sunset Overdrive. This was just another zombie apocalypse game. It definitely would not be on anybody's radar. So that's to take into mind. The OD is their kind of version of zombies. Basically, what's happened is you work for this company called Fizco, and basically what kind of happened was they released this new energy drink, and they're so desperate to get it out of development and get it to the public eye that they kind of rushed it through the testing phase, and it's turning everybody into these monsters / zombie hybrid things. That they kind of drink too much of it, or they drink some of it, and they get kind of like blisters and all this kind of stuff. And you see one turn OD right in front of you. So, yeah, this is a third-person game. It's fully third-person. There's not any first-person, kind of like Grand Theft Auto. There's no really third-person aspect of it, or first-person aspect of it that you can play. So keep that in mind. The reticle I actually like a lot. The reticle is very cool. It's just like this circle, which you guys have probably seen. It's just a circle, and basically what it does is it kind of lock it. It's not your actual reticle. You really what happens is it kind of your game locks on to an enemy, and you press your fire button, whatever it is, whatever you choose it to be, and it fires at the enemy no matter where your reticle is. So your reticle isn't really your reticle / crosshairs isn't really that, like, they don't really matter in this game. So during all this apocalypse stuff in the year 2027, You happen to be in Sunset City working for Fisco, and the outbreak happens, and you have to survive by grinding on the rails and killing all the OD, which you guys are seeing here. The gunplay in this game is very smooth, as I would like to say. It's not by any means revolutionary, but it is a lot of fun to play around with all the guns, which brings me to my next point, is that the guns in this game are a lot of fun to play. There's the AKFU, there's the Flaming Compensator, there's the High Fidelity, all these wacky different guns. There's the dude which launches bowling balls at you, and there's the freeze freaking cannon thing that freezes enemies no matter how big they are. They're a lot of fun. You can buy a gun from the main gun seller vendor that shoots out a helicopter and then it fires pistols at the enemy, which is very, very creative on Insomniac's part. So congratulations, Insomniac, to making some really, really cool weapons that actually are fun to use. So this game does have multiplayer, and the multiplayer is seamless to an extent. What it is it's basically this thing called Chaos Squad, where it's kind of like survival in Call of Duty, with the fact that you have to complete different objectives during your survival to get points and ultimately win. So yeah, that's kind of all I have to say for that kind of portion. The characters in the game are very, I would like to say, memorable. Some of them aren't as quite memorable as others. Like there's the gun vendor, who I can't remember the name of. He's not very memorable. But there is a scientist called Floyd, and he kind of teaches you the AWESOME-POCALAPYSE kind of thing, which is kind of how they dub the apocalypse in this game, where you can grind and you can bounce and you can do all these different things. So I really liked him. He was very memorable, and I liked him a lot. Sunset Overdrive has a sense of certain style. It has its own style, and it doesn't follow this nitty-gritty Call of Duty shooter that you guys can obviously see that on the screen. It's very bright. It's very colorful. It's very, very fun to move around in. The mission structure, though, is not very great. It's not as fun as it could be, and I feel like if they were to not put as big an emphasis on traversing through the entire mission, it would have been a lot better if you had a chance to walk around and find something, or if you had a chance to not shoot OD the entire time. That would be a little bit better. So back to the world, though. The world is huge. The world is very big. It consists of one huge kind of island and two outer ones, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's a very, very big world. And with a very, very big world, you have to have a very, very big structures. And you have to have very, very big districts, almost. I think they're actually called districts in this game. And you have to have a lot and a lot and a lot of things to do in this world. And I'm not sure if Sunset Overdrive struggles with that or is right on the dot with that, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff to do outside of the mission, but it's not a Watch Dogs style where it just kind of overwhelms you. So what I'm saying if you guys have played Watch Dogs, then you guys know when you look at that map, it overwhelms you. You freak out and you have no idea what to do first. So you kind of just put it down and you say, I'll come back to it later. You really don't. Be honest with yourself. But it does have that great sense of style, and it has the amazing world and a lot of stuff in that world to keep you occupied for an extended amount of time, and that's very, very good. That's what you want in a video game. You want a video game to be able to entertain you for more than 3 hours. The upgrade system in this game is amazing as well. What happens is you get these badges, and these badges add up. They're kind of like a cash, almost, and you can purchase these things called overdrives. And overdrives give you more style. You'll see in the top right here that my style bar, it's kind of about to fill up. And with different style levels, you can activate different amps, and the amps are what give you your flaming rails, or your, when you bounce, fire comes out, stuff like that. And it's very, very smart, I have to say. It reminds me of the Nemesis system in Shadow of Mordor. It is very smart, and you can interact with it any way you want. So I really like the upgrade system, and I hope other games take that, honestly. Steal it from them, because it's a very, very smart upgrade system. What you do is the badges are you get from doing random things like grinding and killing OD and killing scabs, which are like the bad guys, like the bad people, the other people in the world. You get badges from killing them. And then with those badges, you can purchase overdrives. And with those overdrives, it gives you more style generation, or faster movement speed, or more style generation using this kind of weapon, or more damage using this kind of weapon. It's very, very smart. So when you create more style, you get to use your amps. And then when you use your amps, you kill more people to get more badges. It's a very small circle, not a giant circle. It's a very small circle, but it works very, very well. So congratulations. Now, the amps, on the other hand, are not as great. The amps, don't get me wrong, they are awesome. I really like them a lot. There's a lot of them in the game, and there's a lot to choose from fitting your playstyle. But the problem with the amps is that there's like 6 or 7 things to collect to create the amps, and they're not plentiful to an extent. You have to buy the map to figure out where they are. And the thing about the amps is that when you collect all this stuff, you have to fight a wave-based thing that happens for 2 minutes or whatever. It's not every time, but it's sometimes, every once in a while. They're like mission kind of things. And it's kind of annoying, because if you do not get that right, if you mess up, you get screwed over and you have to restart. And all you want to do is get the bloody amp. With the amp, you can figure this out, and you can do it the right way, and you can kill all these guys with ease. But you can't get the amp because you are trying to fend off the people, and there are too many of them. So it's just not, it's not as fun as it could be. But the upgrade system with the badges and the amps and getting more badges and overdrives, that is very... Oops, I just knocked over my pop stand here. That is very good. So congratulations to that. That was a very good system, and it's very easy. It's very intuitive. So congratulations. There's a lot of enemies in Sunset Overdrive, and that's very good for the game itself. Like I said before, you have scabs, which are like a faction in the group that are the people. They're survivors. They're just like you, except they don't grind and go everywhere. They have guns, and they remind me a lot of the people in Rage. If you guys have ever played that game, they kind of have garbage on them, but it's the apocalypse, so it kind of makes sense. And they have guns, and and within those scabs, that faction, there is these girl scabs that are like really, really fast. There's a regular scabs who sit there and shoot AKs at you for however long, and then there's like these bomb scabs that like shoot bombs out of giant bazookas and stuff, and that's very, very good. And then they have the OD, obviously, who have many different variants. They have the regular OD that you guys are seeing, and they have like the poppers who like come up to you and pop, and then they take a whole bunch of damage. And then they have, which come in like hordes, by the way, which are very annoying, but they are very easy to kill, so that's very nice. They have a nice balancing act with that. They have the Herkers, which are like, they have like an excavator arm instead, and they attack you and they hurt a lot. They have the Spawners, which obviously, like in their name, they spawn. They go and they spawn more OD, which is always just perfect. And then they have the Blowers, which blow acid at you. So they have a very good variety of people and a very good variety of enemies in the game. And each one of these enemies have a weakness. They don't put you up with a challenge that you cannot overcome. If you buy a certain weapon, or if you use a certain boost attack or something like that, or if you get behind them, you can destroy them. And there is also things like the Physco bots, which are obviously they're Physco bots. The Physcos are like the bad guys, the overlying bad guys. Physco bots that come and they try to kill you because you are about to get out. and they're different ones of that. There's like the blade ones and the ones that shoot you and the ones that like, there's all these different ones, all these different enemies that I cannot even name, and it works to their benefit. They're very good, and each one of these have like their own little district. So if you're going into little Chinatown, you're gonna be fighting these guys. If you're in the old factory district, you're gonna be fighting the scabs and the OD. And the OD are everywhere. It's what kind of other people are you gonna fight? And that is very good for the game. Like I said, it makes the game interesting. If you need to go kill scabs for a mission, you go over here. The missions are very simple. They are from point A to point B, and you go to point C, which is usually back to point A, to get a reward. Very simple missions, very simple layout. But what makes Sunset Overdrive fun is the fact that getting from point A to point B is so much fun. Like, it's not a lot of work. You grind on this, then you jump on this, then you wall run on this. And while you're doing that, you're exploring the world that Insomniac Games have crafted. It is very, very nice. And the art style of this game is very, very nice. It does not ever fail to disappoint. When you look around the city, there's something, you look up, there's something you want to do. There's something you want to go check out. There's these little, since it's a next-gen game, it has these little trucks that, well, not little, but these trucks that fall over, and all the OD comes swarming in from everywhere because the truck dumps out overcharge, which is like their kind of drug almost. And they all go, and you can either kill them or you can let them go, or and then sometimes like there's these civilians that you can find and you can help. And and when you explore to get from point A to point B, you find new things to do. You find new quests. You find new characters, new side characters, but they're new characters. You find new side missions. It's a very, very good thing. So what Insomniac has done is create what everything else has tried to do, but they've done it the best. When you're in Call of Duty and you have to get from point A to point B, when you're in any game really, and your objective is 500 meters away, would you rather walk 500 meters and run 500 meters, or would you rather grind 500 meters, bounce 500 meters, wall run, and then boost dodge or boost slam onto the objective? It's your choice, but I think we all know what we're going to do. We're going to boost and grind and bounce and wall run all the way to the objective because it's the fun thing to do. It's the more entertaining thing to do. And when you play a video game, you pay $60 to be entertained, don't you? So Insomniac has done just that. They've created a world where it's entertaining to play, it's entertaining to explore, and it makes you explore, honestly. That's what it really does. A big part of Sunset Overdrive is to keep mobile, and that's very, very easy with the world they've given you. It's very easy to cross the road or cross the entire city without even having to run on the actual road/ground. In boss fights especially, or quote boss, not really. I mean, I guess they're boss fights, yeah. In boss fights, it encourages you to keep moving because each boss has a weakness. As every boss in every video game ever. One of the bigger bosses, the Fizco blimp, has this thing where it kind of like blows up or gets disoriented when you jump on satellites. So it's obviously making you bounce on satellites and then shooting them, and then grind while shooting. So all these bosses make you have to be mobile to complete the actual mission, which is very good. And the thing with being mobile and shooting and killing bosses in general, the weapons have their own upgrade system, and that upgrade system, what it does is it rewards you for using that weapon. So it rewards you for your actual playstyle, which is great. I think that's amazing, and I think that's a very good way to do things. And what you get with a level up, you get like an amp slot, I think, and like max ammo or something like that, or like its stats get buffed. I'm not exactly sure what happens every time, but I know you always get max ammo, which is very convenient, especially on things like the TN-Teddy, which is probably one of the best guns in the game. You don't get a whole lot of ammo for that thing when you get max ammo and level that up in the middle of a boss fight when the boss is about to die. And you're about to run out of ammo. It's very rewarding, it's very satisfying, and you realize that you're going to get through the rest of this boss fight with ease. So that's always great. And the the way Sunset Overdrive makes your weapons upgrade, that it's not, you can spend out an hour just using a weapon and upgrading it. Or you could spend an hour upgrading one weapon once and another weapon once and another weapon once, to have all your different weapons, different levels with different things. It encourages using different playstyles, which is always great. So you can either use your own playstyle, or you can use someone else's playstyle. You can use a different playstyle, and it rewards you no matter what. Like in Call of Duty, if you decide to use only rocket launchers, it doesn't reward you for that. But if you decide to use assault rifles, it rewards you for that. And I'm not comparing it to Call of Duty, God no, because it's nothing like Call of Duty. I'm comparing this game to Call of Duty, some of the stuff to Call of Duty, because Call of Duty is another huge game. So that is kind of my opinion on the weapon system and stuff. The weapon system, actually, the weapon wheel, slows down time when you're in it, which is very nice. So you don't have to rapidly switch to weapons. You can figure out exactly which one you want. I do many times that I press the left bumper and then I pick what I want to do. I kind of pick my plan because it slows down time, and that's a very nice feature. It's a very small feature, but it's a very nice feature that Insomniac Games has added in Sunset Overdrive. So the last thing I want to touch on about Sunset Overdrive is the scripting itself. Now, the scripting itself is very funny. The idea in Sunset Overdrive is that it doesn't take itself seriously, which is why this game, one of the reasons why this game was so successful, I'm sure. The fact that at one point you get on your smartphone and you're playing Sunset Overdrive is freaking hilarious. And the idea behind that, whoever came up with it is awesome. The thing about Sunset Overdrive is that it's not afraid to break down barriers, which is awesome. I really admire it for that. A game that's not afraid to take risks. So that's really sweet. And kind of like with Wolfenstein, which you guys will see a review for later, or in the coming week or so, it's not afraid to break down barriers or knock down doors. It's not afraid to do that. So the idea behind this is to keep the player engaged, and it does just that. I found myself laughing for real, not laughing because it was stupid or laughing because I felt like it, laughing because I did something funny, laughing because the game itself was being funny, and that is a very good thing. It keeps you engaged. It keeps you looking. I mean, when they introduce Floyd, they do kind of like the Borderlands style, slows down, paints a picture over it, and then puts like a little motto under it. They call Floyd an absent-minded scientist, which when you think about it is pretty funny. So the small sense of humor it has, or not small sense, but the sense of humor it does have is very funny. And they have this character called Sam, he's just a nervous wreck, and he's funny throughout the entire game when you see him. It's a very funny game. Like I said, the characters are very memorable, and this is one of the reasons why, is because they are funny characters. The game has a sense of humor, and games that like Wolfenstein or Call of Duty or a lot of other games don't really have as much of. You're gonna play your gritty shooter or your dark gray shooter or your puzzle game, whatever. They don't have as much of a sense of humor as Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive is funny, and it keeps me engaged for time to come. So that was my review on Sunset Overdrive. I enjoyed doing reviews, so I'm gonna start doing more of these. If you guys like the review, please don't forget to like and comment. It's my first review, so it would really help out. And we are almost at 30 subscribers, so if you guys would subscribe, that would really help out for more content on my channel. But besides that, my name has been Spiffy, and I'll see you guys in the next video.